Hello and welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in on this holiday weekend. Before we get started, I want to send a shout out to my late wife, Kimmy. Today would have been our anniversary. She passed away a couple months shy of 3 years ago, and we're just going to trust that God had a better plan for her than what I did, and that's going to be okay. And we'll just honor the day. Today I want to talk about forgiveness, the problem with forgiveness, and later on into the video I'm going to get into just what that problem is. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about what causes the need for it and where that all comes from. Before we get started, if you could hit like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments or questions, feel happy to put them in the comments section. Always happy to hear what everybody has to say. And we'll get started. Forgiveness, the need for forgiveness comes from the fact that a lot of us are carrying resentments. We're carrying anger, animosity, hatred, rage, lots of different things, and there's lots of reasons that cause this kind of stuff. For some of us, things happened to us in our childhood, maybe when we were young. Maybe we had a parent or two that was abusive, or maybe they neglected us, or addicted to drugs or alcohol, or who knows, maybe they worked all the time and were never there for us. Maybe they never showed up for school events or softball practice or skating or any of that kind of stuff. Maybe they never, gave us a birthday party like the other kids down the street. Lots of different things happen to different children growing up, and they take that into their adult lives, and it manifests in the form of, resentment and some anger and discontent, animosity, lots of different ways. There's others, maybe we didn't make the football team in high school or the cheerleading squad, or maybe we got voted off. Maybe all the fellas ganged up on us and bullied us all the time, or maybe, the girls teased us. Kids can be cruel, especially in high school, and there's lots of things that can happen in high school that some of us carry into our adult lives, and we never forget and we never move past. Some of us, maybe we've had a relationship, a spouse or husband or wife. Maybe somebody cheated on us. Maybe somebody filed for divorce, took the kids, or we had a nasty battle in court and it didn't go our way. Maybe somebody was unfaithful, or maybe we had a friend that betrayed us, or somebody owed us money. They borrowed money and didn't pay it back, or they took money from us. People, even people close to us, they steal from us, take advantage of us. Sometimes it's just a case of somebody violated our trust, our confidence, that kind of thing, and it left us with a deep sense of betrayal. And, I know I've experienced many of those things myself, and have responded in the same way that a lot of us respond. Maybe some of us lost a loved one. Maybe a child passed away, a spouse passed away, grandma passed away. And we just, we got mad at life. We got mad at the world over that stuff. And, we never got over it. And what happens is we respond to it. And it's how we respond to it. We respond with anger, lasting anger. We respond with rage. We respond with hatred. Sometimes we don't respond at all, and no response is a response because we're stuffing that stuff deep down inside. We're not dealing with it. We're not processing it. Instead, we're letting it well up inside. And it manifests in our relationships with others, with our spouse, with our kids, people that care about us. It manifests in how we perform in the workplace. We have trust issues. We don't trust our boss, our coworkers. We're always looking over our shoulder, waiting for the next shoe to drop, waiting for the next person to screw us over, waiting for life to show up. We don't have a positive outlook. We're more pessimistic at times. Or sometimes we mask that with over positivity because we don't want to get honest with the fact that deep down inside we're really hurting about something. But these are the ways that we respond. Some of us respond with depression. Some of us respond with anxiety. Something didn't go our way, and our response was to be depressed. Or we're sad about what happened to us as a child or something that happened many years ago, and we carry that years into our adult life, and we respond with depression or anxiety. And let me let me be clear here that I'm not saying that, what we're talking about here today is the source of all depression. There's lots of things that lead to depression. There's lots of causation. Some of it is clinical, and I'm not a doctor. And so if what I'm talking about here today doesn't resonate with you and you have depression or anxiety, I encourage you to seek medical help, because that's not what we're doing here today. But medical, or psychiatric help is always encouraged for people, who have depression or anxiety or other mental health issues for that matter. But looking in my own life, I had a lifelong resentment towards my father. And I didn't like how I was raised. I didn't like how he treated me when I was young. And that manifested in a lot of dysfunction, should I say, as I became an adult. I had a problem trusting people. I had a problem loving people. I couldn't let people love me. I couldn't let people get in. I went through relationships, I went through marriages, I went through careers, I went through jobs and friendships and all that kind of stuff. And I just couldn't seem to make anything stick in my life. It seemed like anything that was in my life was there for a short while and then it was gone. And I wanted desperately to love people, and I wanted them to love me back. And I just didn't know how to bring that about. I just, for some reason, it just couldn't happen or wouldn't happen. And I became depressed. I had anxiety. I was sad a lot of the time. I'd get angry a lot of the time. I'd be very jumpy. I'd be one of those real sensitive kind of guys. You had to watch how you walk. You had to walk on eggshells around me, and it just my life was miserable. And many times over the years, with close confidants and counselors and a sponsor in a fellowship that I go to, I would take a look at this stuff that had went on with my father. And the best I could ever do was that I was a kid. I was there. Those are things that happened to me as a kid, and that was kind of my part in it. And that was as far as I had ever got. What I didn't understand was that it was pointed out to me that my part in it was that I hated him as an adult. It was pointed out to me, Brian, your father is dead and gone now, and he's been gone for many years, and you're still hating him. You've still got the aggression towards him, and he's gone, and your hatred isn't doing anything to him. It's not affecting him in the least, but it's killing you. It's eating you alive. It's ruining your life. It's manifested in all areas of your life, and you're absolutely out of control. You have no idea where you're going 5, 10, 15 years from now with any degree of certainty that you're going to get there. You're just kind of having to take life as it comes at you and hope for the best, throw a bunch of stuff on the wall and see what sticks. And this was true. I had to look at this. I had to digest it. I had to swallow this pill. This was true. What I came to understand is that many, many times for many of us, we are legitimately victimized by some kind of happenstance in life. But then we continue to play the victim as we go throughout life. And therein lies part of the problem. We can't seem to move past it. And what I'm here to tell you today is that, yes, there's times in your life when maybe you were victimized, maybe you were a victim, but you have to wake up the next day and decide that I'm not going to let that determine the outcome of my life. I'm not going to let that change my disposition towards family and friends and loved ones and how I conduct myself at work and how I make my decision. We can either let things harden us or we can let them soften us. And I had let things really harden me. I had a real, people tell me all the time, even to this day, they tell me you need to loosen up, you need to soften up. And it's been a years-long endeavor for me, and I've gotten, much, much better at it. I've softened up a great deal, but it started with coming to the understanding of how I was responding to some things I was mad at. And there's other things in life that I was mad at, just besides my father. I had been married a couple of times. I didn't feel that I got treated right in court, those kinds of things. I had been through a couple career changes and didn't feel that I had been treated right where that was concerned. I got burned out of a bunch of money years ago in a business endeavor, and so I've got all these harboring, these resentments built up that I think that I've dealt with. And although I may put those things down on paper, I may look at them and see what's going on there, I had never forgiven anybody. I had never moved past any of that kind of stuff. I was stuck. And a lot of us get stuck and we don't even know it. A lot of us are absolutely unwilling. We're absolutely unwilling to move off of that chopping block, to get off that cross of whatever it was that angered us years ago. We hold on to that, and that becomes subconsciously our excuse for not moving further in life. And that was my own truth. What I had to do is I had to learn something about forgiveness. My problem was I had a skewed view of what forgiveness was, what that really meant. For me, forgiveness meant that I was giving somebody a pass. It meant that, okay, now I love you and I welcome you into my life and let's break bread together and let's be best buddies and all this other kind of stuff. And I wanted no part of that. I didn't want to get hurt again. I didn't want to just, give somebody a pass or all that. And I didn't understand that forgiveness means none of that. It doesn't mean that I've got to go reunite with somebody and invite them into my life. It doesn't mean that I have to go get back together with my ex. It doesn't mean that I have to go back to that person that stole all that money from me and become best friends with them and do it all again. It doesn't mean any of that. And it doesn't mean that I have to make it okay for what they did. For me, here's what it meant. Forgiveness meant that I had to let go of the need for a different past. I had to let go of the need for a different outcome. I had to say, okay, yeah, that happened to me, and that's there. That was then, this is now. And I'm going to be okay with the fact that that's there and that happened, and I don't need to change that. I don't need to wish that I had the childhood that the other kids down the street did. I don't have to wish that that ex hadn't done that to me. I don't have to wish that maybe that guy hadn't burnt me out of that money, and I sure could use that money today. I'm just going to leave that where it is, and I'm going to let go of the need for things to have been differently. I'm going to let go of the need that maybe, I wanted it to work out this way instead of that way. I'm going to let go of the need to be right, to be validated, to be heard. I'm going to lose the aggression. This is easier said than done. For me, I had to take a spiritual approach. For me, I asked my higher power, my God, to give me the willingness to let that stuff stand, to give me the willingness to let go of the need for a different outcome and to just be okay with where things are now, and I'm moving forward and I'm no longer the victim. I'm taking responsibility for where I am in life, and I'm going to move forward, and I'm no longer going to be victimized by that. That's no longer going to control the outcome of my life. We can let things harden us. We can let things soften us. I'm going to work on trying to soften up a bit. I'll tell you what, when I was able to forgive my father, when I was able to forgive some of the other things that people had done to me, perceived or not, in my younger life, when I was able to move past that, it doesn't mean that I regroup with those people. It just means that, okay, that's where it is, and I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to lose the aggression, and I'm going to move forward with my life, and I'm going to trust people. I'm going to open my heart up, and I'm going to, try to have a better life moving forward. Since I learned the art of forgiveness, since I learned how to acquiesce, it has changed the trajectory of my life. And I could sit here all day long and tell you, the numerous ways in which it has, but it has changed the trajectory of my life. I have more love in my life today than I've ever had before at any point in time. I have more patience in my life than I've ever had at any point in time. I have more tolerance. I have more hindsight. I have more wisdom. I have more people that love me and think highly of me and hold me in high esteem. And I do the same for those people. I have more respect of my peers, my coworkers, and my friends and family than I have at any point in my life. And I hold the same for them. I love people today. I love being around people today. I can invite people into my life today. I can trust them. That doesn't mean that everybody's trustworthy. It doesn't mean that I don't get hurt. It doesn't mean that I don't get burned. I just understand that I'm better off for having loved. I'm better off for having forgiven. It doesn't mean that I don't protect myself. It doesn't mean that I just lie down all my guards and just let everybody walk all over me. I have some esteem today because I've learned about what I'm worthy of and what I don't need in my life. And I've learned how to set boundaries and those kinds of things. But it started with forgiveness. See, my MO was to just shut everybody out. I would punish you. I would ghost you. I would lock you out. I would shut you out. I would move on. I would have nothing to do with you. And you wouldn't even know why. It was very unfair. It was very childish, and it was very juvenile of me. And today I don't have to do those things. Today I can have a difficult conversation with somebody, and we don't have to get aggressive. It doesn't have to be full of all kinds of anger and animosity. Today I can hear people, and people can hear me. Today I'm calm and patient with people. I don't have to get excited. It started with forgiveness, with letting go of the need for a different past, letting go of the need for a different outcome, understanding that when I harbor anger and resentment, it leads to more scarcity and deprivation. It leads to more isolation. It leads to more being alone and angry at the world and closed off. It's just no way to live. It is not the universe's will for you to live like that. It's not the universe's will for me to live like that. I believe it's the universe's will for us to live happy, joyous, and free. And if you're not happy, joyous, and free, one of the first places to start is, what are you holding on to? Who are you not forgiving? What are you not moving past? What do you need help with? And if you need help with some of that stuff, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. You can see a counselor, you can see a psychiatrist, you can join a church or a religious movement or a spiritual body, you can join a 12-step fellowship. There's lots of, peer group counseling. There's lots of places, or maybe just a close friend, maybe a trusted maybe there's somebody in your life that you admire and you want what they have, and you can go to them and say, hey, how did you get there? How did you do that? There's nothing wrong with reaching out for help and finding out somebody who's maybe a few steps ahead of you, how they got there, and then doing what they did to get there yourself. It's just not in the will of the universe for you to be depressed and miserable and mad and angry at the world. That's going to conclude my talk for today on forgiveness. And to let the cat out of the bag, the problem with forgiveness is that we don't do it. The problem with forgiveness is that we're stubborn, and we hang on to our own will with these kinds of things, and we think there's no way I'm ever going to forgive that guy or that person. And all I got to say is, how's that working out for you? Because it wasn't working out for me, and I wanted something better. You can have something better too. I hope you liked today's video. Please like and subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. We're growing. We're getting more people. I'm going to be having some people in. We're going to talk and do some interviews and talk about, some self-improvement kind of things and that kind of stuff. And I'm here to help you, and you can help me. If you have something you want to put in the comment section, feel free to do so. I'm here to answer any questions. If you need to talk to me one-on-one, you can hit me up. My email will be in the comment sections. You can send me an email. Until the next video, God bless you.